Welcome to Agents Growth Academy. Get ready to grow big or go home because class is now in session. I've got a fantastic guest that I can't wait to share some airtime with you today. His name is Jason Kilgo. He's the owner of Kilgo Insurance. He's a graduate of High Point University. He was the top auto sales for Geico from 2003 to 2005, number one in the nation with 216 policies in 2005. Holy moly. He met Warren Buffett twice. I'd love to hear about that. He was the top 5% loan officer for Bank of America, producing over 200 units yearly. A black belt in karate. Okay, now I'm scared. And an Eagle Scout. Jason, welcome to the show, my friend.
Man, thanks for having me. I'm pumped to be here.
Yes, sir. Tell me about the black belt. I didn't know that.
It goes back to I have a brother that we're 16 months apart and to the day.
Yeah.
And we just always used to wrestle. And my dad was like, you know what? Y'all want to fight all the time. I'm going to get you guys in karate. And just with, my self-esteem and my mom pushing me, she's like, hey, don't ever stop. Don't ever do anything halfway. I went all the way and got my black belt. It took about 13 years of my life that I did karate twice a week.
Wow.
And fought a lot of people, was ranked not very high, but I was ranked one time in the state, and it was good. It was a lot of fun. Taught me a lot about life and molded me to who I am today, for sure.
I was just going to say, I mean, from speaking with you off mic, like your level of determination and the go and Kilgo, like I can absolutely see how that helped you out. My son is in his second year of wrestling, and I think it's going okay, but man, he's getting beat up, but he's staying in there. He's a fighter. I think there's a lot to be said for people who stick in there with something. That's tough.
Yeah, I got a friend of mine whose son is doing it right now, and I actually just went to support him.
Yeah.
And this guy is very, very small guy.
Yeah.
And I was amazed at how that sport really is. When I was in high school, I was like, there's no way I'm wearing that thing. Leotard and wrestling, I don't want to be against those guys. But for seeing the sport for what it is, was very impressed. And this he's going to be dominant, and he's just a wiry guy, and that's what it takes, speed, right? And that's kind of like what I thought about for my agency, Kilgo, the go is in my name. We're all about speed, and that's what we want to be. That's what we want to reflect.
I love that. I love that from a branding perspective. You were showing me some sneakers. Your staff will know about this like tomorrow, but this will come out like a month from now, so there's no risk that they're gonna know this. But the sneakers that you got for them were super cool with the Kilgo logo, and some of them got like lightning and stuff on there. It's all you have. I mean, for the people that are on video, let's see some of this.
Yeah.
Air Jordans, baby.
Oh yeah.
Heck pretty, yeah.
If you're gonna hit goals and you're gonna, have a great year, you got to reward the team, man. And everybody's a Jordan fan, so it just works.
That's awesome, dude.
They're gonna be so shocked and surprised. I can't wait.
Yeah. Oh, that's cool, man. That's super cool. So, talking about like this determination, this grit, this speed, I asked you beforehand, like if this were a masterclass, what would it be about? And you said sales secrets you wish you knew. And the reason I even have you on the show is because you were on Kelly Donahue-Perot's show talking about adopting a coaching mentality. At least that's one thing that I picked up on. And adopting that coaching mentality, especially in your sales meetings. And I just wonder, like, is there some sort of pivotal moment for you where you realized that needed to happen? And tell me about, the sales secrets.
Yeah. So all my life I've been in sales, and I decided to open up Kilgo Insurance on my own. And I just, I had the confidence and the determination to make the industry better. I just thought my agency, I could do it better than anyone else. And so, you're working, every job I had was in sales, and I've always been the best. And I just work hard. I just outwork everyone. I learn things, and I'm coachable, and I pick up on things. I learn from my mistakes and just get better and better. And I'm just not going to be outworked. And so what happened is when you start your own business, you realize that it's tough, right? It's
Yeah.
the hardest thing you're probably ever gonna do. I mean, it's crazy to start your own business, and so it gets to a point where you're wearing so many hats that you can't really just focus on sales.
Mm-hmm.
And sales is everything.
Mm-hmm.
Sales makes everything better. So I realized to scale, you need good people.
Yeah.
And that's really where the coaching philosophy came from. Is I realized I've got to take, even though I'm good at it, I've got to take myself out of the sales position and get others trained and coached to be me, cloned by me,
Yeah.
better than me, and put them in those seats where they can perform, and then I can actually do what we need to do, which is be the visionary, lead the team, and scale up.
Yeah, absolutely. So how do you coach them? Do you have a process, or what does that look like?
So we have a Monday, we call it a Go Monday meeting
Yeah.
where we are try to get everybody pep talked up. I mean, Mondays are always tough, right? You get the
Yeah.
weekend, everybody wants an extra day. But
Yeah.
my team is really generally always ready and fired up. I mean, those are the kind of people we want to hire. So, we have that Monday morning meeting. We go over the wins, the challenges, what's the problems, what's the objections we had from last week,
Mm.
what we're moving into the next week. We have a scorecard we go through. Everything lives off that scorecard. I
Yeah.
kind of associate it like a baseball card.
Yeah.
So there's stats, and the players that are remember the players that are the best have the best stats, right? So
Yeah.
everybody, it creates a little bit of competition, but that card, we're setting it up to where it's going to be a digital card, so kind of like an NFT
Yeah. Yeah.
where they have their stats, and those stats change daily or weekly, monthly, quarterly, whatever. But after the year, they're locked in. That's your card.
Yeah.
That's what you did that year. That's what you reflect on.
Yeah.
And so I think that's pretty cool. We just kind of came up with that, and the team loves it because now those records, those stats, those can be recognized, those can be appreciated, those wins can be really celebrated,
Yeah.
and that's the reason why I got my team Jordan. We had a phenomenal year,
That's awesome.
so I'm really happy with my team, and so we have that. We have, and then we break it down. We have a service. Um, uh, Client advocate meeting where we talk
Okay.
about issues and things we need to get better on the service side, how we need to
Yeah.
wow clients, what we need to do more of.
Yeah.
And then we have a sales meeting. In that sales meeting, we strictly go over objections that we're running into that my team is having a hard time solving or
Mm.
a hard time overcoming, because what we focus on is a one call close.
Okay.
So if you look around the independent world, that's probably unheard of, right?
Yeah,
Everybody's
I
like,
was
there's
gonna
no way
say
you can
like,
do that.
how do you make that work?
So we really are quick to get on the phone with the client. We go, right, just like my
Yeah.
name says. With
Yeah. Just
the
like your
go
hat.
means something. So we get that client on the phone, and we immediately send them a Zoom link, because whether on their cell phone, laptop, computer, they're always on something digital that we can get a hold of them and share screens with.
Okay.
And what I found is the best close rate is when you're face to face.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I can see your body language. I can see you nod your head. I can see you listening.
Yeah.
We can share screens. I have nothing to hide. I want to show you the discounts. I want to show you the value. Here's what you're getting with this carrier that you're not getting with other carriers. Here's what you're getting with Kilgo that you're not getting with other independent agents. So that way, we've got them on the phone. We've answered all their, we've handled all their problems.
Hmm.
We've quoted them through 20 different carriers. We've built trust. We've built value. And when most of the time when we get them in that situation, 9 times out of 10 or 10 times out of 10, we're closing those sales right then and there.
So this is fascinating because with us being in a more remote world, and I think off mic, you were telling me that all of your employees are remote. Is that right?
That's correct. Yep.
Wow. Like, are they all in the same state or are they spread out?
So Virginia Beach is long. So I mean, Virginia is long. So we got one employee in Virginia Beach.
Yeah.
We've got two in Richmond.
Yep.
We're hiring in Northern Virginia. I had an agent there who just left us. So we're going to be hiring in Northern Virginia. We've
Yeah.
got one in Raleigh, North Carolina.
Okay.
And we're just getting ready to bring one on from Tennessee.
Wow. Which that I mean, this is a whole nother episode. Like I'm fascinated because we're also spread out just in Georgia. And then because of the pandemic, it forced us, like everybody else, to, do the remote thing. And now that the air is somewhat cleared, we still have probably 15-20% of our folks working from anywhere, is what we call it. And but I'm curious, like from the standpoint of getting clients on Zoom or prospects on Zoom, I would think that would be hard. Tell me about that. I mean, how do you convince them to share some of their time with you on Zoom when they're probably already on Zoom calls, they're sick of it, or maybe they don't have time or whatever?
Yeah, that's a fair question. I wouldn't say we're super successful at it yet.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of people don't want to be on camera,
Yeah.
but they
Yeah.
do like to. But they do like to see your screen, right?
Okay. Yeah.
Because let's think about it. Like in our state, Geico is the number one auto insurance carrier.
Mm-hmm.
Geico's not going to do anything like that. Geico's going to do everything on the phone, and not only that, they're going to do everything inside of 15 minutes.
Yeah. Yeah.
Most people don't know that if a call with Geico runs over 15 minutes, they lose money and they get mad at that agent.
Wow. So their 15 minutes or less is no joke, like even to the point of
They have
detriment to the
broken it
client.
down statistically on what makes them money, no matter who's in your seat, no matter what agent's in that seat, they've
Wow.
figured it out how they make money.
Yeah.
And that's why they're spending, millions on advertising because
And that's like the true definition of commodity is like, okay, folks, we've only got 15 minutes. The clock has started. Let's do this. It's like, wait, what about the client experience? What,
that's right.
what if there's something, what if we want to actually get to know our clients and what their son or daughter is playing for sports this week or this month? Like, I would imagine that's the kind of conversations you guys get to have that Geico doesn't.
That's right. And so that's why I started my business. I mean,
Yeah.
there's no personalization to it. There's
Yeah.
no customization to it. It
Yeah.
is, we are selling you on this rate and that's all we got.
Yeah.
So what we try to do is, we're not, like I said, this is also something we've come up with that we've done we're doing,
Yeah.
but we're not getting everybody bought in. But what we are seeing is if we just throw the link at them, we don't ask, hey, do you want to be on Zoom? We don't ask.
You just say,
It's
hey, jump on a call with me.
That's right. Jump on this call real quick. And by this, COVID helped with this because
Yeah.
everybody's doing Zoom now.
Yeah. Grease the wheels a
So
little.
it's less intimidating, right?
Yeah.
Because of COVID. So if they don't want to be seen, we just say, fine, let's share screens
Yeah.
and do that. And we're not forcing. I mean, obviously, if somebody has a problem with it, we're over the phone. But I mean, once we get you face to face and go through everything, and you can actually see through our eyes what we're doing,
Yeah.
it's a 10 out of 10. I mean, we're closing all of them, and that client feels that trust is built stronger than ever.
Absolutely,
Right?
man.
The confidence in what we're selling
Yeah.
is now it's at its all-time high because whether you're, State Farm, Geico, whoever, they're just trying to do all their business over the phone. Everybody's doing business over the phone.
Yeah.
When has the client ever really said, "Oh, am I getting all my discounts?
Yeah.
How do I know?
Right.
I've got to trust this agent." The value. Half the time when you tell them, "Hey, this is what we do," by the time they hang up the phone or even on the phone call, they don't care. They've forgotten. It
Sure.
has to mean something. And the other part of this is our sales call process and how we
Okay.
go through the sales call.
What does that
So,
look like?
sure. So we have three phases. We have a discovery phase, we have a story phase, and then we have a close.
Ooh, okay.
So on the discovery phase, statistically, and insurance is all numbers, so
Yeah.
you gotta have that backing in there.
That's right.
It takes 11 questions or more to build trust. So in our discovery phase, we are asking question after question after question and letting the client talk. We're
Okay.
not just saying, I mean, obviously we're filling out the application, but
Sure.
it's not just, okay, I'm going to get your name and date of birth and address and
Yeah.
vehicle info and blah, blah, and I'm just going to rush to get to the coverage page. We
Yeah.
take our time.
Okay.
So it's not a fast call.
Yeah.
And we'll work on scaling this once I get a bigger team and once we get, bigger. But right now, we take the time to hear from the client. Why are they're even calling us?
Hmm.
What problems they've had before?
Hmm.
What do they know about insurance? What do they know about Kilgo?
Yeah.
And so we're talking with them and building that. And really, what we're doing is we're trying to uncover what the true holdup is, what the true problem objective is for them to come with us to get insurance, and
Yeah.
how we can help them, how
That's
we can
brilliant.
solve that problem and help them. Then we
Yeah.
get to a storytelling. So, it segues over to, we don't go right into what are your bodily injury limits, or here's
Yeah.
what we're going to offer about. We go right into, so Jim, it's a beautiful wintry day, and when the sun goes up, it glistens, it shines brighter off the snow, right?
Yeah.
Your eyes almost squint. So what do people do in their car? They bend down, they get the sunglasses on, scrambling for sunglasses. Maybe you've got a kid or a dog in the car, and you've got a million things going on in your mind for work. You haven't went Christmas shopping for anyone. You've got a lot of things going on.
Yeah.
You bend down, you fumble them. By the time you look up, you run into the back of someone. That car gets pushed into an 18-wheeler. Person's paralyzed, or could be on the deathbed.
Sure.
That's a lot of lawsuit money, a lot of medical bills. Right now, you only have 100,000. Let's just say you have good coverage, because if you're probably with any other carrier, you probably don't have good coverage. But let's
Yeah.
just say you have 100,000 in bodily injury payout.
Yeah.
Um, where are you going to get the rest of that money if it's going to cost you $1 million to pay for everything?
Yeah.
So what we do is we offer an umbrella policy. Do you know what an umbrella policy is? And then we explain why they need the umbrella and why it's important. And then what do you get when you sell the umbrella? You have to get the auto and home.
Right. You have to have the underlying. Yeah.
You have to have the underlying. So
Yeah.
once we've sold them, or they've self-discovered, that's the
Yeah.
most important thing. The client needs to self-discover why they need the coverage. You're not selling the coverage. The client is the hero because they're self-discovering why they need the coverage. You just help guide them there.
Yeah.
You've just advised them and guided them where they need to be. You're not selling anything.
Yeah.
You're highly recommending. Look, you cannot live without this. And then we are then going under and selling the auto and home policies. So now we just sold 3, but we really only needed to sell the 1.
That's brilliant.
And then really what happens is, it should be automatic, but you need the confidence, you need high self-esteem, you need belief in what Kilgo is doing for this client, and you close them.
Yeah.
Hey Jim, after we went through everything, I've got, this has been an amazing conversation. I think you're well protected. I think you can see that. I think you understand the value now of why you have the coverage you need, and this is going to be great. So we're going to go ahead and get this set up. Does your closing date's on the 12th, but we're also going to start the auto on that day. Can I get your routing account information? And boom,
Yeah.
you pause. You don't say anything else,
Yeah.
and you let that client go get their checkbook.
Yeah. You have that air of confidence that you presume the sale is just like almost an afterthought. Like, well, of course we're doing this.
That's right.
Yeah.
Never
That's
where you
brilliant.
hear my people say, "Are we ready? Or do you think you're ready to do this? Or when do you want to?" No, that's not
Nah,
happening.
you're giving them an out by doing that.
And
Yeah.
that's how we do it on one call.
Yeah. So discovery, storytelling, and what's the last part that
Close.
close? Okay.
And I've read something. I try to do a lot of reading, no matter what it is, or podcasts and everything. And somebody was telling me one time that I hate the word storytelling. Like, it's overused. Like, everybody always uses. So what we did is we just kind of simplified it. We just say the story. Like, you need to tell a story. You
Yeah.
don't have to. Storytelling almost makes it sound like a fable.
Yeah.
Like, hey, let me tell you, let me read you a bedtime story.
Yeah.
So we say it's a story, like a real life, true story that has happened. My team has about 50, 100 examples. And here's what I wanted the audience to know. I get this asked all the time when I do one of these things, and they say, Jason, give us some examples, give us some stories. We don't have a story. I have not had, in my 15 years of insurance experience, luckily, knock on wood, I hope it never happens, but I don't have a true umbrella story, not yet.
Yeah.
But guess what? I read about the tragedies every single day. I see on the news the stuff that happens every single day. It's only a
Sure.
matter of time, and we're all mortal. It's going to happen. So guess what? You don't have to have your story. It can be any of these stories.
Yeah.
The story I just gave you, it's happened before. It will happen again. And I just told you that story, but it has not happened to one of my clients.
So do your employees have like a bank of stories that they're drawing from? And
Yeah,
how
we
did
just try
how
to find something relevant.
okay.
So, you know, that's why they're hired, right? That's their
Yeah.
job,
Yeah.
is to do their own research, uh, to come up with, those things on the fly. I mean,
Yeah.
that's how sales is done. I mean, that's why one salesperson is better than the other, right?
Sure.
So we train, we practice, we coach that stuff, but really we've given, hundreds of examples, but primarily if they're calling for homeowners insurance, we get a lot of referrals from loan officers, real estate agents, things like that. So we predominantly try to lead in with some kind of a home claim that could happen.
Yeah.
But it could easily be for auto. So find something that's relevant in the questions.
Yes, that's what I
Yeah.
was going to say.
If
Yeah.
if you find out the home has a swimming pool, be a good idea to talk about a story with a swimming pool.
Right.
And
And
I
it's
have
probably
had
going to lead back to an umbrella.
that. Exactly. And I have
Yeah.
had a story with that where an uncle got a little too hammered at a party, jumped off the diving board, tried to do a pencil inside of a donut float, missed it, bounced off, and hit his head on the side of the pool,
Ooh.
broke his neck, somehow lived. But the bodily injury limits were high enough that it covered it and the umbrella didn't come into play.
Yeah.
But that story just supports what I'm trying to tell you. It could have been worse,
Could have gone
and
the
you
other
would
way.
have
Yeah.
needed the umbrella.
Yeah. Yeah. Limits could have been lower. And where are you going to come up with the rest of that money?
That's right.
Yeah. And asking other questions of them, like, do you have that squirreled away in a bank account? Or because if not, and that's understandable, like for a little bit extra money, this is this is what it could provide. So
Yeah, we never try to we really want them to calculate the math. We
yeah.
really want them to figure out this is not small money here. This is not something you can just come up with and say, "Hey, I'm going to cover this claim on my own."
Yeah.
This is why you have insurance. And for, I don't know, 100, 200, heck, even $300 a year, I think it's very worth the coverage. It's
Yeah.
a no-brainer. And
Yeah.
that's what we try to get people to understand. Your agent never offered you this. You don't know what one is. I'm in shock
Yeah.
because this is one of the most needed coverage
Yeah.
that you can have. So it's what we try to portray is we try to lead all these things for the client to say, yes, I want that. Because once they say, yes, I want that,
Mm-hmm.
not only do we have the kind of clients we want, but now we know they're going to get the auto and home with us.
Yeah.
And now we just got 3 policies per household.
I love it. I love it.
Yep.
I love the power of, and I know you said you don't like calling it storytelling, but it is. I mean, another way to look at it is, bringing coverage alive or bringing your brand alive or whatever it is. But it is so powerful. And I think that storytelling more than any other form of communication helps us connect more directly with people because they are literally putting themselves in the character's shoes, whether it's the uncle or whether it's you or even visualizing themselves, being in that car that ran into that truck because they were fumbling for their sunglasses. Those are real connection points that help them understand, like, okay, I feel this. You can talk to me all day about it, but if I can't feel it, if I can't truly connect with it, it's going to be hard for me to feel like I'm invested in this and that I should, purchase this.
Yeah. I mean, what's the number one reason why people don't get the right coverage? They don't believe it can happen to them.
Right. Right.
Right. I
Yeah.
don't think this will happen to me. I'm going to live forever, blah, blah, blah. Right.
Yep.
So you've got to make it, you've got to tell a story. You can't just tell any story. That's not going to work. You've got to tell a story that's going to be relative to them and their lifestyle, what they're
Yes.
living,
Yeah.
right? So once they imagine themselves, oh my gosh, during the questioning phase, during the discovery, we found out you have a baby. Well, that baby's in a car seat, right? Let's say that baby is crying. You can feel we've all been there.
Yeah.
You're going crazy because
Yeah.
you're driving. You have to reach back, but yet you're driving. Your foot slips off the pedal. Small accident, big accident. It's crazy right now, right? Like
Yeah.
your world can get crazy real quick. Situations can get disastrous. Tragedy can happen in a second. People need to know that these things happen, and they need to know, hey, it can happen to you because it's happened before, and guess what? It'll happen again, and it'll happen many times over.
Yeah.
But you have to believe, right? So you got to
Right.
sell them on the belief that it could happen to them. Once they have that self-discovery, they say, you know what, you're right. I'd rather pay the $100, $200 right now to know that I'm covered, confident. Our mission, Kilgo Insurance, it took me forever to come up with this. Grant Botma has a little bit of something to do with this. Um, he's a great agent and he's got a lot of things going, but he kind of helped mold me on this because, I started my agency and for 2 years we were just writing a lot of business.
Yeah.
And then I was like, we have no purpose other
Mm.
than selling insurance. I
Yeah.
want something more. I want something that's going to be visionary, that's going to change the way our agency can be for the world, right? So we came up with Kilgo Insurance thrives to help people live life confidently.
Yeah.
And what we're about is whether it's your personal life, your business life, I'm all about confidence. Karate's taught me that. I've got a bunch of stepping stones with that. And my team, you don't come to work unless you're confident in what we're doing. You've got to believe, you've got to know that our agency is the best agency to have your insurance with. And they all do. I have a great team. I'm very blessed with that. But it's the confidence that we have to instill in others that once you sign that application, once you get a policy with us, you're not just getting auto, you're not just getting home, you're getting umbrella, auto, and home. And you step out tomorrow, you're going to be confident that Kilgo's got your back, at least for the financial part.
Yeah.
Can't stop the tragedy, but we can help mend and get you back to where you were financially.
I love it. Jason, I'm reading a book right now called Stories That Stick. And the author is Kindra, Kindra Hall, Kindra Hall. Fantastic book. And what you just touched on were two of the stories that really need to be told by every business. The 4 stories that she talks about are the value story, so the value of the product itself, the founder's story, the purpose story, which is what you just alluded to as the purpose, and then the customer story, which you guys have nailed. I'm going to challenge you right here, right now, to come up with your purpose story that you can tell clients and that all of your employees will be able to tell clients. And there's so many elements that go in, and I won't talk about all of them right now, but think about a story, and you nailed it with the ones that you told. They all happen in a moment in time. So it's not just this ethereal or conceptual thing. It's like, I remember the day when I realized this is how I was feeling in that moment. This is like, if you can convey that purpose, man, I think you guys can totally have an even bigger leg up than you already do on a lot of your competition. By the way, your competition should be really scared of you. Not just because you're a black belt, but because you're already telling stories. And that is such a powerful way of connecting with people. But I'm challenging you right now. And this is something that I'm going to take on myself. Like, I know that I have to sit down and write each one of these stories. The customer stories, I love it. I'm going to challenge my staff to come up with a whole, like for every major coverage that they end up working with clients on, they need to have a story that explains and helps the insured or the prospect put themselves in those shoes, so that, as you said, and I love this, they can self-discover why they need that. It's beautiful. It's brilliant.
Yeah, you're not selling,
No.
right? You are the guide. There's a book called well, it's Story Brand. I can't remember the guy's name off the top of my
Yeah,
head.
it's actually it's sitting on my desk upstairs. That's the next book that I'm going to read on storytelling.
He's he's awesome to hear and listen to, but that's kind of where I got all that from.
Yeah.
He's saying that a lot of insurance agents say, "Oh, I'm the hero because I gave them that coverage."
Yeah.
But you didn't. You gave it to them, but they could care less. They cared about the price.
Right.
What we want is we know we're going to save you money. 9 times out of 10, we got 20 carriers. We know we're going to save you money.
Yeah.
That's not what we're here to do.
Yeah.
That's an additional thing on what you're getting. That's the icing on the cake, right?
Yeah.
But you need to understand why it's important to have the coverage you have, and you need to believe in it, just like we believe in it. And I want you to say it, not me. I want you to say, "Hey, I need this," not me say, "You need this."
Ooh,
And
that's
I think a lot
powerful.
of agents they have a real hard time with that because they're so used to saying, "Hey, all my people have the best coverage." Okay, so what? How long are they staying with you? Does that matter when their renewal comes around? What can they say about your agency? I'm glad you got them covered right. I mean, most agents probably don't even have that right. But the fact that we want the client to be the hero, we're just the guide. We're guiding them through the application. We're here for the ride. And here's also something I want to add. We generally like our clients, love our clients. Like a lot of people say, "Oh, I love all my clients and they're all great and blah blah blah." Okay, what? But
Liar.
we learn from them. I
Yeah.
tell my team, find something you can learn from every client.
Yeah.
Every client has their own story. Every client has something to sell. Every person has something you can learn from.
Yeah.
And that discovery stage is a best scenario where you have the opportunity one on one to connect with somebody and learn something about them.
I love it, man. Well, and one thing I'll say too about your process that I love is that through the discovery stage, you're helping them identify problems that they have, and then you're using stories to bridge that gap. And then once they've recognized that and self-discovered, love that concept, they've already sold it. And like you said, you don't need to sell them. All you need to do is facilitate the transaction at that point to get them the thing that's going to help them with that problem that they had.
Yeah, and we still have, don't get me wrong. We still have challenges at the close.
Mm-hmm.
My team still makes mistakes just like everybody else, and um, casually and not as hard as I'd like close,
Mm-hmm.
right? And so we're constantly working that. But the goal is where the client's like, by the time you're done speaking, the client's like, "Take my money."
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And
Yeah.
that just doesn't happen in our field. So you have to be confident. You have to have that leading close, like assumptive close. "Hey, man, this was a great call. I really had it. It was a pleasure speaking with you. But now's the part where I take your money."
Yeah.
Right? Like
Yeah.
that is the whole goal of the call. If you don't get the money, you don't get the sale, and the client's not going to live life confidently.
Sure.
So those objections we handle, and that's what we role play, and that's what we coach on, and
Mm.
that's what we're constantly going over, along with the storytelling. The discovery, I tell my team, you just have to memorize the questions. You have to memorize the questions. You have to know the questions inside and out. There's tons of millions of questions you can ask. We have about 14 that we go through, but the storytelling needs to adapt to the client. And based on those objections and what you've learned from the discovery, you've got to close and handle objections. So just want to make sure that's clear, because I think a lot of people think, oh, Kilgo's got it all laid out and he's got 100% close. We have a very high close rate. We close about 70-75%. But we're also getting them based on referrals.
Yeah.
So that helps. That
Yeah.
trust is built.
Sure.
But we still have to work on closing.
Sure. Absolutely. Yeah.
And
Brilliant,
look,
man.
it's like I tell people it's just like shooting free throws or taking a swing with a bat or hitting a ball with a tennis racket, swinging a golf club.
Yeah.
It takes practice, and salespeople have it in their head that I don't know where they get this egotism from, but I'm the best. I know what I'm doing.
Yeah.
You have to practice. No
Yeah.
one's going to tap you on the shoulder and say you're going to win every sale.
Yeah.
And I think you have to bring your salespeople down to earth, and you have to remind them that there's someone better out there than you.
Yeah.
And the only way you're going to beat them is by practicing. Kobe Bryant is someone that I've really have been looking up to in the past year or two. I mean, obviously, rest in peace with Kobe, but
Yeah.
he's become more known to me from that and all the documentaries and books and things that he's done. That's what he was about.
Yeah.
He was about outworking everyone. There's a story where it wasn't Derek Fisher, it was somebody from the opposing team comes in and does a shoot around. And they see Kobe on the other side of the court doing his shoot around. And they were like, he asked his trainer, he's like, how long's Kobe been here? Oh, he's been here for an hour already. So he finishes his warm-ups, and Kobe's still shooting around. So it's been like 2 hours now. They have a game that night.
Yeah.
So he leaves. They have the game that night, and after the end of the game, he walked up to Kobe and he's like, "Man, dude, you must have worked out for like 3 hours."
Yeah.
He's like, "What were you doing?" He's like, "I saw you come into the gym, and I wanted you to know that I'm going to outwork you. That no one works harder than me, and I'm going to do whatever it takes to make you understand that you're not going to beat me."
I love it.
And that's how I train my salespeople.
Yep.
Practice is important.
From the black belt himself. I love it. You ready for the rapid fire round, my friend?
I am ready.
All right.
I'm a little nervous, but I'm ready.
Oh, no, you got it. One piece of technology or software you can't live without.
I think I'm just going to default to probably what you get a lot, I would assume, and say my cell phone, just
Yes.
because there's just so much you can do from it. Communication is key.
Yeah.
And, I think about it, software, you think, okay, if I was lost in the woods, what would I want? And, besides bearing, there may not be a signal. I mean, cell phone, right? So
Yeah.
in any aspect of life, you can pretty much do everything from that phone. So I'm going to say cell phone.
Love it. Well, cell phones do connect us, and that's a big part of it, right? One book that you're either reading now or that you just love and you want to share.
Yeah. So right now, I'm reading The Orange Revolution.
Okay.
It's by Adrian Gostick and Chester Elton.
Mm-hmm.
It's just a very informative book about how to treat and lead employees and build a team that will rise up and scale and do amazing things, and encouraging them and really just leading them. And it talks about an NBA exec for the Detroit Pistons
Mm-hmm.
who set records for all-time attendance. And then every executive that's been under him has went on to be VPs or CEOs at other companies. I mean, the guy's amazing. So it's a really cool book. I did want to point out that two others that are really good, talking about Kobe Bryant.
Yeah.
Winning, and The First Eye is a One.
Okay.
By Tim Grover. Excellent motivation book. I'm not saying it's for everyone, but it is a very, it will light you up. It will pump you up. You will be fired up. Anybody that reads that book or reads a chapter, if you can't sell anything, there's no hope for you. I mean, it is a very powerful book. And Tim Grover really gives a lot of stories
Yeah.
and insights to how he trained. He's the trainer for Jordan,
Yeah.
how he trained Kobe Bryant, Jordan, and I think for a little bit of a time, Charles Barkley and some others. So just really cool. And then The Dream Manager
Okay.
by Matthew Kelly.
Yeah.
I think it's a little underrated, unknown book, but it talks about how this company implemented a position called Dream Manager, and they help connect the employees with their personal goals to align with the company's goals.
Huh.
And it's super cool, super
That's
fascinating.
awesome.
So on my organizational chart, guess what I have? I have a Dream Manager role,
Love
and
it.
that position's not filled yet, but when as we grow, that's what I'm going to be looking for. It'd be a slash CFO kind of position,
Yeah.
but a dream manager to help people accomplish their goals.
That's really cool. He's not Australian, is he?
I'm not sure.
Okay. There's a Matthew Kelly who's a Catholic book writer that we hear about a lot. So I didn't know. Okay.
It was Audible, and now you got me thinking. I can't remember. I read this book a couple months ago, and
Yeah.
I can't remember what the sound was, but they always have different people read it, so that
Okay.
might not be
But
anything.
you listen to books on Audible too?
Yes, I do.
Yeah, man. That's how I do it too. And I know audience, if y'all want a free trial, you can just go to audibletrial.com/growbig and you get like 1 month free. I think you get like a free book essentially. But I listen to, I've started to listen to more books as like a first pass. And then if I really like it, I'll buy it in print and then I'll make just tons of notes.
Yeah, if you were to look to my left over here, I mean, I've got two built-in bookcases that are just filled.
Awesome.
And my wife's like, "Man, what are you going to do all these books?" And I don't know what it is, but I've always wanted a library in my office, so
Yeah.
I just can't get rid of them. It
Yeah.
means the book means so much to me, and to be honest with you, it's kind of like school. Like if I ever, think of something, I'm like, "Oh yeah, it was in this book. Let me reread it."
Yeah.
So it's kind of like um, my own library, my own research library of all the books that I really love
Yeah.
and I can get information from. But yeah, this day and age, I'm always traveling meeting to meeting or riding to see employees, and
Sure.
Audible is the way to go.
Yeah. It's a good use of your time when you're in the car for a while. I think we captured stories. Unless you got another one, you did a great job telling some stories.
There's just so many. I mean, like I said, with the house, we primarily sell the home insurance because the lenders referred the clients over to us. So there's just so many stories you can go with that: a fall down the stairs, parties, barbecues,
Yeah.
um, guns.
Yeah.
There's just so much there. What I would highly recommend is, for the listeners out there, contact your claims advocates
Mm,
and just say, "Hey, look, you know, what's the worst umbrella story you've had that
yeah.
you've dealt with, that you've helped?" We did that. I did that with several carriers, and they sent me a list of umbrella claims.
That is a fantastic piece of advice. Which actually leads me to, and if you have another one, what's one final piece of advice you'd leave for our listeners based on what we talked about today, or some actionable step?
Yeah, I think where you start is you need your salespeople to slow down.
Mm-hmm.
I think they get so wrapped up into, I've got to go at the speed of lightning to get to the coverage page.
Yeah.
And then I'm just going to give it to you all at once.
Yeah.
Kilgo value, or your agency value, the carrier value, the coverage. I'm going to throw everything at you at once. And then, oh, by the way, the very next thing I'm going to say is, give me your money.
Right.
It just doesn't work. It doesn't work anymore. Maybe it worked when State Farm was sitting across the kitchen table with you back in the 50s, but now it doesn't work.
Yeah.
So the key advice I want to give everyone is active listening.
Mm,
It's speed to lead, not speed through the quote. Take your time to actively listen. Be intentional with the moment. Hear the client. You know, what's that? White men can't jump.
Yeah.
You don't hear Jimmy. You don't listen to Jimmy. You got to hear Jimmy, right? So if anybody gets that analogy,
I love
but
it.
but that's what I tell my team. You've got to slow down and really understand and know your client.
Yeah.
We know that's our target client. We know they're in our niche because we're getting those referrals.
Right.
Now we've got the client on the phone. It's your turn to build rapport, build trust. You do that with questions, and you do that by your responses of active listening. And an example of this would be, um, uh, when's the last time you heard from your agent? Oh, I've Geico. I'm never going to hear from them. Oh, wow. Okay. So if you have a problem or something happens, who do you call? Oh, I just call the 1-800 number. Oh, so you're going to get somebody every time. They're going to have to go through the story all over again with you. They're going to have to get reconnected with you. They don't know what's going on, and then they're going to try to help you. Yeah, that sounds about. Let me tell you what Kilgo does. You know, we've got notes based on you and your family. We're going to know what your dog's names are. We're going to know your kids. We're going to know where you went to school. We're going to know what you're about. We're going to know what your occupation is. We're going to know your favorite things.
Yeah.
We're going to really communicate on your level to make sure we handle whatever life throws at you.
Yeah.
By the way, we got you the best coverage. Kilgo, we pride ourselves on helping you live life confidently. So I did a little bit of talking there, but it was in response to their dilemma.
Right.
And then you move on to more questions. We want them talking more than us, but you want to actively listen and respond based on the things that they're giving you.
Yeah.
Don't wait and handle that objection at the end,
Right.
because then it's going to turn into a stall, and stalls lead to callbacks.
Yeah. I love it.
So
It's
active
brilliant.
listen.
Good stuff, man. One final question that's maybe a surprise to you, maybe not. If I said, Jason, I would love to send you some soup, or I would love to send you some gourmet marshmallows with hot chocolate, which would you choose?
Ooh, I'd probably say soup.
What kind?
Probably. I'm not a big soup guy, but the reason why I said soup is that my kids and my wife are, and it is. It's getting a little cold over here. Actually, Virginia's been crazy. It's hot and cold and
Yeah.
all over the place.
We're the same in Atlanta.
I know January and February has got to be cold, so soup fits the bill. And the only reason I did say hot chocolate is because my wife has a special way she likes to make it, and whatever you send me is not gonna
Can't mess
fit.
with that,
It's not
man.
gonna, it's not gonna top it. Yeah. So
Well,
soup probably for me it would be like chicken noodle vegetable. That's I'm not hard to please.
I was
That's
just
what we
gonna say, like, you can't go wrong with chicken noodle.
no
Well,
chicken noodles.
I'm gonna send you a soup package from Spoonful of Comfort. It's a company that we've used in our company. We send it to all of our employees, and I want to send it to you as a thank you for being on the show. But
That's
you're gonna
awesome.
love it.
Appreciate that.
And it's and we're recording this just before Christmas, so you're hopefully gonna get it just before Christmas and have a chance to eat it while it's
Perfect
cold.
timing.
But you
Yeah,
eat the
perfect
soup while
timing.
it's hot, while it's cold outside. Jason, where can people find you if they want to reach out to you and learn more about what you're doing and ask you questions?
Yeah, it's real easy. It's Kilgo Insurance. We're all over Google. You can email me directly at jason@kilgoinsurance.com. Our office line that you can text and call is 804-403-7400.
Awesome. Love that you can text and call. That's super cool. Good stuff, man. Hey, listen, it's been an absolute pleasure having you on today. I think our audience is going to get a lot from this, especially around storytelling, coaching, and everything in between. It's been a pleasure sharing the mic with a black belt for everybody out there listening. Until next time, grow big or go home.